Okay, well, here we go. Now, let me get this out of the way. All right, why do I'm here. My image just isn't here yet. There we go. And okay, welcome. We got 3 people here so far. You guys are on time. I was a little late getting set up. I had a little bit to do. It's been an extremely busy day, so actually, I think we're going to do most of what we're doing is we're just going to sit here and as we get people piling in, we're just going to have a chat. Uh, Hello, Tom. Welcome. Hi, Ruby. Welcome. Martha. Welcome. Um, yeah, it's just one of these things where, real life sets in and you got to kind of go with the flow and get your real life stuff going. But all in all, it's been a rather interesting week. Uh, Field McConnell went and got himself a really, really lawyer, which is, smart of him to do. Uh, as far as what's going to happen to him, that's kind of up in the air. Now, I'm trying to load up some paperwork here, and instead of getting 7 sheets, I'm getting 1. It's not giving me the rest of the thing here. And I think what happens is in order to get all of it, I've got to pay for it. At $2 a clip. It gives me a cover sheet, which is the 3 charges that Field is facing. So there's that, and I'll be able to basically read the 1 sheet here. Now let me go back. And these are the entries we have so far on here. Now what we have four things that have come up. Now we had the arraignment at 8:30, and basically it got into his plea and going over the plea, the fact he's got himself a lawyer. They want to get a reduction of his bond. And what's not coming up on here? 126. I'm getting a bit of a... Oh, here we go. And that would help if I was up at the right. Okay, 228. We get a court date notice. This is the latest. And let's see what we get here. We get 00. So is there going to be a document? Yes, there's going to be a document. Alright, and the document says, you are hereby notified that the following cases have been set for hearing. Case number, we already know that. Citation number. Defense motion, felony, Central Courthouse, 201 Southwest 6th Street, which is the Central Courthouse. And it's calling for 8:30 a.m. And it's got Field McConnell and his attorney SHO Sean Howard of Boca Raton. Now, Mr. Howard is a very well known and expensive attorney in Southeast Florida. Now, whether or not this guy's going to be able to do field any good remains to be seen, because Monday morning is when all this is going to take place. And so Monday morning, we're going to have this hearing before the court. Okay, that's nothing. And so, let me bring this over so you can see it. I keep forgetting to transition this stuff. But this is basically what we're looking at. Well, the arraignment basically reads the charge. He enters a plea. Let me bring the arraignment up if I can get this thing to work properly. Because arraignment held. And okay, we've got. I'm just going through. Hi, Rebecca Ann. Welcome. Now, what we basically have right now is he has pled not guilty. The attorney has filed a motion for a reduction in bail. And it's 6 pages, but this thing will only load 1. And I'm not sure why. Let me see if this will do it. Because for whatever reason, bring this over. Yeah, it's only loading the first page, which is irritating because I'm not going to be able to. There's 6 pages to this, and the 6 pages get into the whole schmoo, and for whatever reason, I've run into a situation where it's not allowing me the other 6 pages because it gets into detail. And I ordered the documents and I've got them on my phone. I'm not sure why I'm unable to locate them on my computer. Because I did order the things. Let me get this off for a minute. You're getting to see all my mail. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go down through. Now, the court had sent me an email with the paperwork, and it's not. Oh, here it is. All right. Okay, we got 23 pages of arrest paperwork and the now the one thing when this comes up, because right now I'm just bear with me a minute here because I'm getting things set up. Whoop. No, let's send me back to that. Put that out of the way. Alrighty. All right, because basically what I've got so far from the court, excuse me, is this is the arrest. There's 23 pages or 24 pages, and this basically just tells me it's a certified document. And this is the Broward County arrest report, and this was dated the 23rd, 2020. This is when he arrived in Florida. Oops, get back here. And this is his arrest report. Rapunzel, Rapunzel, where is your hair? Okay. All right, anyway, we've got the aggravated stalking, which he was arrested for. Now, it's my understanding he could be charged at a later date with the other two. And the next one is where he was extradited from Pierce County, Wisconsin. So we have that. And then we go down to this is Acapius. Again, rather. This thing is not going to cooperate. Yeah, these are basically, this is a bureaucracy they go through when they send paperwork back and forth. Well, hello, Field McConnell. We're just going over your arrest record and stuff. Just kind of old paperwork, because this all started on the 27th. And this is more of the. This is an affidavit to arrest. And it's October 10th at 7:30. Detective met with Kim Picasio, who responded to the Parkland District Office in regards to a subject identified as Field McConnell, aka Abel Danger, who had been repeatedly harassing her by means of the internet and live streams / podcasts, so on and so forth. Victim Picasio was able to provide evidence through videos, emails where McConnell had posted videos on YouTube, social media, and so forth. And basically goes on, and shows where the detective discussed with Kim all the stuff that she had gone. On September 23rd, the victim stated that suspect McConnell had publicly broadcasted her personal telephone number and address on live stream. McConnell stated he did this to encourage his followers to go by her work address in Fort Lauderdale and take her into custody. Suspect McConnell even posted a distasteful and violent picture with the intent to kill his victim. McConnell posted on his live stream account a photo of the victim with her head being chopped off with a samurai sword. A copy of the photo was obtained and documented in the restraining order. I missed that one. Hello, Levi. Welcome to the chat. On October 3rd, McConnell was broadcasting live from his studio located in Plum City, Wisconsin. During the broadcast, Field McConnell states directly to the victim, Miss Piggy, Broward County, Florida, "You are on my radar and you're going to die. I hope that is clear enough. That's me, Field McConnell, Marine Corp 0116513. And if that is a threat to Miss Piggy, Broward County, Florida, I don't give a flying fuck. Now, this is, you know, he basically just, yeah, the image has her with her head chopped off. On October 4th, Kim was granted a temporary restraining order against Field McConnell. On October 9th, Field McConnell was served a restraining order by the Pierce County Sheriff's Office in Wisconsin. Less than 1 hour later, after being served, suspect Field McConnell violated the restraining order by contacting the victim. The injunction clearly states that the respondent, Field McConnell, shall not commit any intentional, unlawful threat, word, or act to do violence to the petitioner, which includes direct or indirect contact. On October 9th, 2019, less than 1 hour after being served the restraining order, Field McConnell violated the restraining order by sending an email directly to the victim's personal email, threatening the victim. And it's kind of hard to read for whatever reason. They, you pay $2 for this thing and then you can't even read it. Said basically that the victim will be disbarred and executed. The victim received this email while she was present in Broward County, Florida. Field McConnell violated this restraining order by sending a direct email to the victim. The second violation of the restraining order occurred on October 10th, 2019, my 69th birthday, of all things. Excuse me, folks, sorry. At 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Field McConnell violated the injunction by posting a live stream video of himself in clear view of his cameras, making intentional, unlawful threats of violence and death directed towards the victim. Field McConnell states directly to the victim during his live stream broadcast, "I know what the plans are for her. They include arrest, tribunal, and elimination." Field McConnell continues with his terroristic threats of death to the victim with a threat to commit violence by eliminating the victim. Field McConnell states on his live stream video, quote, "Where the victim can hear 13 Marines sneaking up on her and she is hoping that we are to assist her. She is wrong, period. When the Marines show up, the team will engage in a final protective fire." Field McConnell explains that final protective fire is a Marine Corps military tactic where Marines open fire and kill their target in a hail of gunfire. Field McConnell states this directly to the victim, which was captured on video. Field McConnell also displayed a photo of the victim during his live stream to his audience, displaying his potential target, which is the photo of the victim. Due to continuous harassment, cyberstalking, and a call for repeat violence and death against the victim and her family, coupled with repeat violations of the restraining order after it was served, the suspect, Field McConnell, violated FSS 784.084 and SS 836. I think that's 30-1. And it goes on to explain the ordinance, and it explains the use of terrorism and so forth. And since this is unreadable, I'm not going to bother with it. On October 16, 2019, the victim appeared before Judge Kaplan's for the final hearing on the injunction for stalking. The court granted a final judgment of injunction for protection against stalking after notice. Due to the victim meeting the higher burden of proof, the judge precluded the respondent from referencing the victim's name or indefinitely into the future indefinitely. The offenses set forth are contrary to statutes in such case and provided against the peace and dignity of the state of Florida. And so we go down here, and it says a hearing was held. This was the state of Wisconsin versus Field McConnell on February 13th, 2020. A hearing was held on February 12th on the request of the application for writ of habeas corpus filed by the defendant McConnell. And it goes on, and based on the consideration of the extradition documents on file, the information and arguments submitted by the parties, the court makes the decision therein, and it basically goes through in detail all of this, and they granted the injunction, or granted the extradition, and off Field McConnell went. Going down through this to find if there's anything else on here. And basically it's this is the arrest warrant, I believe. Yeah. This is the arrest warrant that was set to the state of Wisconsin. And this was sent from David Olson to Natasha Corellas, who is works for the state down, or works for the county down here. Our judge has issued his decision and order for Mr. McConnell. Per the judge's order, Mr. McConnell is remanded to the custody of the Pierce County Sheriff to await relinquishment to Florida. I am attaching a copy of the order to this email. Please let me know what we can do on our end to get this process going. And this is David Olson, Assistant District Attorney for the Pierce County DA office. And let's see, this is a no bond hold that was issued on the 2nd of October. I don't know if they're going to go with an insanity plea or not. That would be if they do that, then he's going to be examined to see if he is insane. And then I'm not sure what would happen there. I had ordered this last week, and I can see in order to get all the paperwork from here on out, I'm going to have to pay $2 a pop for these pages. Because it's when I go into the court docket, I'm only getting the first page. I'm not getting the rest of the pages because let me go pretrial supervision. Now this gets into everything that is required of Field McConnell if and when he is to post bail. And let me bring this up. Kim Picazio is considered high profile because she's one of the top attorneys in the state of Florida, so that would make it a high profile case. Plus the fact that he made these threats against an attorney. Because when I applied for credentials in Broward County, that's what I was told. And all basically that means if I get credentialed in um, Florida and I am in the courtroom, that means I can text directly from the courtroom. Uh, okay, Levi, I'd appreciate that because otherwise I got to pay $2 a page for those darn things. This one I've got up here on the screen now is my what I paid for. And this little piece of paper cost me $2. And I went over this in my drive-a-thon, and I think I put images up this up, but this basically, it says up here in the top left-hand corner that bond was set at $100,000. Now, no monetary bond required was not checked. So that means that this is a monetary bond. Uh, I got in an argument with somebody over whether it was a monetary bond, cash bond, and according to a bonding company I talked to, they're basically the same thing. Um, okay. I apologize for the throat clearing. For some reason, I'm getting into a situation where I'm constantly clearing. I don't know what's causing this all of a sudden. I just, you know, I'm on the headphone because of the. All right, I'm going to put. No, I don't want the color bars. Where's the. Okay, for some reason. Oh, there it is. I couldn't figure out what was going on here. I kept getting a. There I am. All right. Yeah, I was trying to get things set up. Sorry about that, guys. Because what I'm going to do, I got to go over and check something. Levi's going to send me instructions, and I want to see what he came up with. Because I tried to get the documents out of Broward County, and I kept getting the, well, it hasn't come through yet. Um, hmm. Yeah. This. Yeah. Probably ought to do that. This stupid thing comes in. Somebody cures terminal cancer with pet medicine. Really? Excuse me. Okay. Well, let me see. Okay, I'm just trying to. Okay, well. Put that back up. Yeah, I'm a little bit annoyed with that. Because I'm not understanding why. But this thing will just. Simple, just view on all pages. Alright, Tech, let me try that. Because um, that must be what I'm doing wrong. I just, alright, let me get rid of this. Bringing this up. Because it was kind of weird. I've done it before to where I've been able to view all the pages without spending $2 a copy, and that's what I couldn't figure out why I was running into this problem. So we'll go to. Broward County Clerk of the Court. No, I'm not a robot. Bring this up. Okay. Now, let's see. Okay, now. Okay, now I've got... Oh, alright, I didn't see this. Hey, thanks, Sharper's attack at work. Alright, now let's get down to page... Well, page 2 on this one is blank. Well, that's alright, at least we know. This is notice for hearing, because what I want to find... Let's see. Defense motion to reduce bond. This is the one I want to see. I thank you a lot for that, Sharper's attack. This has been bugging the hell out of me. Alright. Oh, great. Yep, well, we're in business. Yeah, Ruby Tuesday. My memory sucks. I don't know why I couldn't remember that, because this basically Orange County works the same way, and I should have known. But, it's just one of those things I screwed up, and I appreciate people helping me out on this. Alright, now let's see. I gotta reduce this. Oh, I have to So we adjust this. What I'm doing is I'm adjusting the display on my screen, so bear with me. Okay, now I'm going to transition this over. Oh yeah, we got Mr. Mr. Margaritaville has joined the fray. And that's been kind of interesting. But okay, we get into the legalese here. Comes now defendant Phil McConnell buying through undersigned counsel. And this is where they want to reduce the bail. And he was arrested at his house. November 26th, the state of Florida filed a one-count information charging the defendant with aggravating stalking. And it goes on, explains that February 13th, the Wisconsin court ordered the defendant extradited to Florida. On February 23, he arrived and appeared for his first appearance. Based solely on the contents of the arrest warrant and accompanying affidavit, bond was set for the defendant McConnell, who was without legal counsel, at $100,000 with pretrial services, level 2 supervised release. The defendant was also ordered to have no contact with the alleged victim and to not possess any devices with internet access. In light of the circumstances set forth therein, the defendant, Phil McConnell, would submit that the monetary portion of the $100,000 bond is excessive and unnecessary, and certain additional conditions require modification. In particular, the defendant, a Wisconsin resident, intends to reside with his son, Cole McConnell, at his home in Stewart, Martin County, Florida, upon release and according to the terms and conditions of the pre-trial services supervision order would require permission to do so. So, okay, he advises he's a 70-year-old male, resident in the state of Wisconsin for more than 10 years, never been arrested, and no prior criminal record. The defendant has been married to his wife, Denise, for 4 years, has 5 grown children, 1 stepchild, and 9 grandchildren from a prior marriage and his marriage to Denise. 3 of his children reside in North Dakota, 1 resides in Dallas, Texas. His son, Cole McConnell, lives with his wife of 10 years and 2-year-old son in their home in Stewart, which they have owned for 3.5 years. Cole has been in the window manufacturing business for more than 12 years and has owned his own window manufacturing business, which is located in West Palm Beach, for 2 years, since March 2018. Additionally, Cole served for 18 years in the North Dakota and Florida National Guard, and in that capacity was deployed overseas twice. And so it's basically his son's a military veteran as well. At the time of his arrest, Miriam McConnell had been retired for 12 years after working for 29 years as a commercial airline pilot with Northwest Airlines. He was a graduate of the Annapolis Naval Academy, served 22 years in the military, 6 as a pilot, 16 years with the North Dakota Air National Guard. He has owned his home in Wisconsin for 10 years, and it is where he and his wife reside as their primary residence. Well, that's really... Yep, that's the case number. Excuse me. In light of the imposition of the pretrial release, which is effectively house arrest, the $100,000 monetary bond is excessive and unnecessary to secure the defendant's appearance for all future court. As this court is aware, the payment of the required 10% bond premium, $10,000, will be lost upon payment to the bondsman, which would unduly financially burden the defendant and his family and do nothing to secure the defendant's appearance. A bond reduction from $100,000 to $25,000 with the imposed supervised release conditions will fully assure the defendant's appearance in court and not cause a financial hardship to the defendant and his family. Additionally, as reflected above, defendant Field McConnell intends to reside with his son Cole McConnell in his home in Stewart, Martin County, Florida, upon release. According to the terms and conditions of the pretrial services supervision order, because the defendant's home is located in Martin County and not in Miami-Dade, Broward, or Palm Beach County, the defendant would need and request permission to do so. It would be perjury. I'm not sure in this case, since it's an argument in course, it would qualify as perjury. This is done a lot where information gets screwed up. Technically, they are married, and there was a rumor that she's back in the United States because she is retaining the services of Lion News in some capacity, and this other woman in an attempt to save the house. So, I don't know what's going on with that. Some people say she's here, some people say she's not here. And, it's basically saying that he's a good candidate for release, and if we're going, Field McConnell requests that the judge order reducing the bond and modifying certain release conditions previously, and all that. So they basically to agree to everything except the amount of the bond. They want Field McConnell uh, released in the custody of his son. Then all the other conditions would apply. No internet access. He's going to have to wear an ankle monitor, and so on and so forth. Uh, okay. Okay, and I'm bringing up the not guilty plea. Comes now Howard Sohan Esquire. Now this is interesting. Remember what uh, Kirk Pendergrass has said about the title of Esquire. And here, Field McConnell got an Esquire. That must really burn Kirk Pendergrass's bitches, because we're not using the Postmaster of the World. We're not using E-Clause. We're not using the guy out in Bend, Oregon. And Field McConnell is not representing himself. And so there's all that. And okay, the undersigned respectfully requests 15 days in which to file the appropriate motions and notifies the state of his intention to participate in discovery pursuant to Rule 3220 of Florida Rules and Criminal Procedure. This means that more than likely after Monday, we are looking at another hearing in more or less 2 weeks to go over discovery. That's going to put this in the middle of March. Well, yeah, Alicia, what they do when they say he's got 9 grandchildren, they're showing that he's got family up in north. He's got family and so on and so forth. It's this is routine in these kind of cases. They're kind of trying to give the court a background. Trying to convince the judge to cut him some slack. And the judge they picked is not an easy one to do business with. So I'm going to be kind of curious what they're going to come up with on that. But anyway, let's see if there's anything else interesting in here. Because basically, in all these, is they're not too much. They had the arraignment. We already know what the arraignment was because we've seen the instruction for it. And then there's, the court date notice that I've showed already. So as far as that goes, there really isn't that much going on with him. Let me see while I'm. Well, Alicia and Linda, the thing of it is these people are not going to be satisfied unless Field McConnell is out of jail, which is going to bring me to something else that I'm getting set up for. But yeah, it's looking like it's going to be early May. is from what I understand. Because, like I said, this is a long process. Because you figure, um, see, December, January, February, March, April, May. Um, he's going to be in jail in excess of 6 months by the time. Okay, I'm getting PL was a hoax proven, but not. But Mert has not found that out yet. What is PL? Oh, well, I don't know. I'm not concerned about anything except. I want to go down here if I can find it. Yeah, here we go. Now, I don't know why he put this in here twice, but he did. Let's see. When did he write this? 26. Now on the 26th, which is a couple days ago, Tim Holmseth wrote a little article in which he accused a guy that goes by the name of Margaritaville, Agent Margaritaville, of sending a death threat to Kathy Miracle. Now, there's something rather interesting here about all of this. Apparently, on the 25th at around 11 o'clock in the morning, Kathy Miracle had sent this and or had received this. I don't know. I'm trying to. This header from Agent Margaritaville to Kathy Miracle. Subject, and it got blocked out, so we don't know what the subject is. And there is a URL here that I can't get to because this is an image, and you can't get to the URL through an image, or you'd have to type this damn thing out. But apparently there's a YouTube video. And allegedly, it was typed where. Oop, come on, get on there. It was typed in that people lie about me and die, Kathy. And this is most definitely a he threatened her. The YouTube video link was put up. Now, whether or not he did that is open to debate. Now, the problem here is that this may or may not be a genuine email. The guy, Margaritaville, has not made one comment about this letter at all. I believe that Kathy Miracle made one comment on his YouTube channel, and that was basically it. I haven't gone to find out where the video is where he said that. So, I leave that open for debate, but I was forced to put up the notification in my video the other night because I can't find any proof that this is true. Kathy Miracle hasn't said anything about it. Uh, it has been stated that the FBI has been called. Uh, I did a FOIA request with FBI and no call has been made. They basically told me they haven't heard anything, and I called her local FBI in Hawaii. I called FBI, uh, the part of the FBI that takes the IC3, got nothing there. So whether or not there's been anything, I don't know. But it's a situation where um, you don't know what to believe. But the interesting thing about this is Field McConnell is on trial because of something like this. A death threat was made. Now I just went through that, and he basically, if the affidavit is true, had a picture. What am I pronouncing wrong? I just saw your thing down here. Gloria, what am I pronouncing wrong? Yeah, if I'm apologizing something wrong, I'm sorry, folks, or pronouncing something wrong. Sorry about that. Okay, say I'm pronouncing. Oh, I see what you're talking about. Kathy Michelle. Micale. What is that? I don't know where I came up with miracle from. Yeah, I just noticed that, Levi. Oh well. You know, add that to my I stand corrected file. I have no idea where I came up with miracle. Yeah, it's Macau. Hmm. uh, yeah, Linda. He's going to be arguing. The defense attorney will be arguing in front of a judge, and the judge is not going to take any sob story in consideration. What the judge is going to consider is whether or not the son is capable of controlling his father and making sure that he abides by the condition of his uh, pretrial release, and that they have no, uh, there's no way that Field's going to be running around, getting on the internet, and that sort of thing. So it does place a burden on the son because he has to follow the instruction of the court. Well, I try to be accurate, Sabrina. I don't know how on earth I got on that. I think what it was is when I'm on the smartphone, I use my little Galaxy 8, and sometimes the print's hard to read, and I may have gotten miracle out of that. I don't know. But you know, I make more mistakes than I get things right. So it's just I screwed up on that one. Yeah, I'm surprised she hasn't complained about me screwing up her name. Maybe she thinks she's a miracle. I don't know. Uh, but anyhow, well, Sabrina Field is going to be told in no uncertain terms, and both by the judge, by his defense attorney, and probably by his son, you either abide by the rules set by the court or your ass is going to be right back in prison because, you know, they're not going to fool around with him. And, everybody's keeping an eye on Field for the. All he has to do is make one mistake and then he's back. He's back in. So, And we're putting the cart before the horse. We don't know if the judge is going to grant the defense request. There's a possibility that he might. He might. My bet, just based on what I've seen in Florida courts, is they're going to cut. They're going to cut it in half. He might get a $50,000 bond instead of $100,000. But the point I'm making here is Tim Holmseth got all hot and bothered about this death threat against Kathy Michael, or however you pronounce her damn name, and he's letting Phil McConnell off the hook. Now that's being a hypocrite, and the same goes for Randy and all those that are making a big deal out of this letter, because Phil McConnell did it. He actually had a picture of Kim Picasio having her head cut off, which that's the first I've known about that. So I thought that was kind of odd. So, and say let's go back into Timmyville for a minute. Now he did one of his things in the car. I thought that was kind of cute, and he's back in the same car as you see there. My question is, why is Joe M on Twitter? The storm is upon us, bad mouthing Field, Abel Danger, saying he's lying about Mike Pence. He is one of the top Q guys. He's discrediting Field and saying Mike Pence is good and solid. Well, duh. I mean, people are beginning to wake up. And I got named in this article along with Montegraph, saying that I'm part of the, and because somebody came up with a slide that shows that Tim Holmseth lied about his not having to do anything with donations for either the PPTF or the Children's Crusade. There's actually a picture of him directly asking for donations, and they had oh geez, I can't remember what it was. They had couple grand, at least $2,000-3,000. And let's see. And we got. So look what turned up on Randy Q's Facebook page. Isn't that something? And it says, LOR Mert, always doing something that he is told to do. Well, that's exactly what Timothy Holmseth is doing. He is doing what he is told to do. He has no independence at all. He is basically handed a script and told to read it. So there you go. I got an honorable mention on Randy Erickson. And in order to get this, that means she's visiting my YouTube channel. So, and that's my excuse to come here, because if she's going to write this shit about me, then I had the legal right to see what she's writing about me. So, that. Huh. Okay, I don't want color bars. Ooh, a little low. All right, get up there. There I am. Anyway, so there's that. Mish asked Mert, who do you think is running Timmy? That's a good question. I think Randy is. It's got to be either Randy, with probably getting input from this guy out in Bend, Oregon, or anyone, any number of people. But I think at the center of it, by her own admission, it's Randy. because she in the debacle they had in that video that big Eager Beaver put up, it's clear that Randy's responsible for most of this allegedly because the the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force did not exist until Tim Homseth and Field McConnell met. I don't think Field McConnell ever mentioned it before Tim Homseth came along. And so I think they cooked this thing up and started it when they met Field McConnell. And then, of course, Tim Homseth had to get Field McConnell involved with Kim, and we know the rest. That Field McConnell is sitting in a Florida jail awaiting a hearing next week to see if he's going to get to go into house arrest with his son in a very nice house in Stewart, or if he's going to remain. Because $25,000 bond means he only got to come up with $2,500, maybe 25,000, maybe $50,000 of equity, and $2,500, and you're sitting on a sofa watching whatever you watch on TV in Southeast Florida. Or if he's got a canal-sized house, which, you might be looking at a canal-sized house. And this is one of these things I meant to do, and we're going to... Let me do a little bit of research here. Yeah, looks like Lolo Mendez has subscribed to me. Thank you, Lolo, for subscribing. I'm one by one, I'm able to get additional subscribers. I'm trying to get at least to 1,000. If I can do that, I'm going to be able to do a lot of things on here. No, I don't want that. Why did I bring that up? I keep making the same mistake. Okay. Oh, I just got information that these people, let's see, there are those in Plum City that told the sheriff of you and all that could have been involved in this grifter scam. She passed that info on to the Wisconsin judge and he to the Florida judge, your criminal background info and YouTube channel. Well, I got news for them. If the judge sees that, he's going to say, oh, because whoever's doing this doesn't know my background. And I guarantee you, I've had FBI level 1 background checks. And I got nothing there. Funny how they send this all to a judge. It's probably all this crap that Tim Homseth has. And that is providing false information to the court. And when this hits, if this has come down here to Florida, to Broward County, I can do a FOIA on this and see who submitted it and what. And we'll do a little broadcast about this. Full name and the whole 9 yards. So that'll be curious if some idiot did that. I think that's kind of funny. But there's some additional information in here I'm not going to publish, but Oh, I see what this is. Okay, I was confused. This letter's not what I thought it was. It's one of the people keep sending me stuff. Um, but this particular interest, this has a little bit to do with our friend Margaritaville. Um, let me, man, I'm gonna get out of this completely because it's. Sorry about this, folks. I got, this is my problem is I was not adequately prepared, and oh, quit doing that. Uh, getting used to this new monitor too. Yep, let's get in here. I closed out the Broward County Clerk of the Court because I thought I was done with it, and I'm not. Uh, I know there's somebody that complains about the way I do things. Oh, they got the new. Cause there's something I wanna do in the. Okay, we go with. Go up here to defense motion. View all pages. Boy, that is, and I'll tell you, I really appreciate that. That I don't know how in hell I forgot that command for viewing all pages. It's, I was trying to figure out how on the earth. Okay. Okay, and okay, I thought I saw something in here, and I guess I didn't. I'm having to read down through some of this paperwork. I was trying to find something. Okay, we'll do it this way. Yeah, I was just trying to. Okay. All right, Liz and Martin Crossings. Okay. Ooh. off of Highway 76. I know where that's at. Well, let's do it this way. Yeah, just trying to. So far, I've found that Mr. Cole lives in a gated community down there, so that means that he's got financial means. Uh, and I really like the fact that Phil McConnell chose Florida because I'm going to be able to get a boatload of information down here, all the stuff that's public record. I'm not being investigated, you know. Tim Holmseth has said that I've been under investigation for 10 years. And I wrote a blog and I put the name, address, telephone number of the Orange County Sheriff's Department, which is 4 miles from my house. Randy Erickson's got a picture of me standing with my briefcase in front of the Orange County Sheriff's Department, in front of a cruiser in an area that the public is not allowed in. And they still don't get it. I deal with the sheriff's office almost on a daily basis because I do a lot of FOIA requests and I do it in person. Because I follow a lot of local cases down here. Okay. And we are flying to Stewart. Here's what we're going to do. Is they're flying. Now that little red dot that you see coming up, that's where Phil McConnell's going to be. And the house has a pool. So let's go down. Pretty standard. I'm curious to see if I get a street view. Well, it's not going to be able to get a street view, but that's where Phil McConnell's going to be at. Nice house. He's got a little swimming pool. Pretty good sized swimming pool. So his son did pretty good. um, Sorry about that zooming. Right. Now, if I could remember. There's a way. But he has. I don't know if that's a car or I think it's a shadow. So. So that is the McConnell but I'm not sure when this photo was taken. But so that's, say this is a, now this is the entrance. Now I should be able to get a street view here. Okay, I'm gonna have to go to, all right. So what I'm gonna have to do something different, but this gives, so let's go home. But that, this is what I was just kind of curious to see. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do this different. 'Cause I don't know why I forgot the transition. What's the entrance to this damn thing? Oh, here we go. Okay. Okay. Now let me do this. All right, this is the entrance to apparently the gated community. And let me see. I don't think. But this is Canner Parkway. This is I've been on this road quite a few times. Uh, State Route 76. But these houses are all they're Ryan homes. They're three and $4,000 homes. So he's, um, well, it's public information. It's on the doc. Anybody can look on the thing. I mean, people have that, but I'm giving a general location. Is what I'm giving. But I'll take that off. But anyway, that gives you an idea of the neighborhood he's in. Read he has won awards for his reporting on pedophiles. No, he has not. If you're talking about Tim Holmseth, he did not solve the Haley Cummings case. He did not solve the Waterlings case. So you're giving out false information, Hunter. Tim Holmseth is a fraud. Well, everybody, I'm not going to do it anymore. But it's more curiosity than anything. But he's lucky in that he's getting into a gated community. He doesn't have to worry about people peering on him. What's not nice. Somebody did it to Monograph. They went and did a Google search on Monogram's house and took a picture of his truck, the whole 9 yards, and put it up on Randy Erickson's Facebook page. And I'm just going by their rules. When you stop and think about it. If Tim Holmseth and Randy Erickson can do it, then it's fair game. And it's that's when it comes to people. Uh, it's I don't know, but I'm not gonna do it anymore. I didn't get to see a picture of his house anyway, except for on a satellite. So that's not gonna do anything. But the thing of it is in Florida, it's once it's public information, that's unless I do something with it of a threatening nature, it's entirely legal. Uh, okay. Yeah. Well, it's just it's a combination of the state of Florida and stuff. There's restrictions we have to follow and stuff. As long as I don't harass the guy, but it's people want to know information about him. It's on the court docket. Rebecca, I don't know if it was Monty's or not. I know he owns a pickup truck, but I think the thing of it is, I've had this done to me. Some woman came all the way from Arizona to take pictures of my house, and another woman came up South Florida and took pictures of my house. She wound up getting a trespass because I live in a gated community, or we did at the time, so that wasn't a smart thing for her to do. But this woman came all the way from Arizona just to take pictures of my house. I thought that was kind of dumb. Hunter Field McConnell has pled not guilty. Uh, I don't know the party affiliation of the lawyer. That would have to be checked. Uh, any legal case, a lawyer cannot allow their political affiliation to interfere with their work on behalf of their client. Uh, it can be 6 or 12. Uh, I believe a felony it's a majority. I don't know. I'm gonna. That's some of these things I'm gonna have to look at and find out because they're going for a jury trial. They would have to. I will have to see if it has to be um, a majority or how that's going to work. Yeah, it's got an HOA, and I don't know what the rules are for having field there. I would hope that the guy checked with the HOA to make sure he can have field there. Um, Die, anything is possible. Right now the lawyer's going with a not guilty plea. Uh, And depending on what the evidence comes out, they could at any time they could change their plea. They could say, "Hey, we're going to change the plea to uh, guilty by reason of insanity or guilty but insane." Anything's possible. Will the HOA allow Field to live with his son? I don't know. He wouldn't be able to live here. Uh, the place where I live, if anybody lives here, they cannot have a criminal record. They cannot be under arrest. You can't have anybody here that is waiting trial. Any of that. It's in my lease. Well, I asked Timmy to come on my channel. No, I will not, because Timothy is a pathological liar. I contacted him one time by email because I wanted to find out if the court documents that were filed regarding a custody hearing was true or not. And he got right on his blog and said I sent him an email and claimed that I asked him sexual questions about his daughter, which I did not. I just asked him to verify what was in the court documents and what his take was on it, and he just outright lies, so he cannot be trusted. Um, so, yeah, the rules of the HOA is what's going to determine whether or not Phil McConnell can be there. Um, Now, what he's going to tell his neighbors, I don't know. But I would hope that the guy has checked with his HOA to find out whether or not he can be there. That'd be kind of a bad thing to do. Who? Phil McConnell's son is in a gated community, and it's they have what they call a homeowners association, and homeowners association would have a say as to what can be done as far as um, a person charged with a felony on pretrial release living in their community. Some of these places are really strict on all kinds of stuff. And HOAs can be pretty nitpicky. Okay, I've got to go and do something real quick, so if you guys would stand by, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. It's just something I had to take care of. Oh, what did I miss? Well, Alicia, it's not known if um, well, he has pled not guilty. At any time they can change their plea in the proceeding. That's basically if they feel the case is weak, the lawyer may advise them to cop a plea, and then they're going to make a plea deal with the prosecutors, try and get sentencing plea or something. That's a possibility. Uh, Sabrina, it when these homeowners association gets involved in these things, they have meetings and stuff and decide what the rules are, and then because people, the homeowners themselves, actually vote on this stuff, and so it's in whatever agreement that they made in their community is what they go by, and some of these homeowner associations are damn strict. Especially in Florida. I mean, some of the my place isn't too bad. It's basically a bunch of mobile homes, and the rules that they establish here are pretty basic, and it's not really that much out of the way. Um, it's a 60 it's a age restricted community, so old buzzards like me are the only ones that can be here. No kids or anything like that. So I didn't know Tim put up a daughter for adoption. I know that he gave her up. I thought he gave her custody to the other mother because Tim has never been married. Um, that's the interesting thing about all this. Sabrina, I don't know what the state law is on that. I do know that we have that here in this one. If Cole lived in this community where I'm at, he would not be allowed to have filled in here because they're required to have background checks. No, what it is Gloria. What it is Florida gives more latitude to homeowners associations than they do anywhere else. It's the homeowners association that sets these rules because there's homeowners associations in here and even in Apopka where you can't have a pickup truck parked in your driveway and stuff like that. It's really bad. Um, yeah, the daughter has. Um, the daughter defends Tim. They have a real close relationship. So and I guess the son supports him to some extent. And I believe he has a sister. Yeah, I just now got your DM, Levi. All right, take care of that. Yeah, that's correct, Tom. A person, that's hard to say, but I have not been able to find any record of Tim ever being married. There's no marriage certificate, no divorce records, nothing. So unless I've missed something, he could possibly have been married. I don't know, but he's never mentioned that he was ever married, and there's no paperwork I can find of him ever being married. Not that it matters all that much, because the other children, um, boy, some people are nitpicky. Uh, oh, Amanda, okay. Well, learn something new every day. Oh, oh, I know what I was looking for. Wonder if it was here. I'm trying to find another. Trying to find. Oh, come back here. Somebody sent me a copy of the drug screen that Cynthia Edsug took to try and clear her name, and it showed negative on all. Let's say negative for methamphetamines, opioids, and PCP. So she basically is not using drugs as of May 22nd, 2019. Now, I believe this she did this herself, and this was not ordered by the state. So I don't know if what they would do with this, but you know I would suppose they could argue um, this in court, to try and help Cynthia Absug in her case out there. I have not heard any more about her case as to what the disposition of the hearings in. Uh, Now, Ms. Dunklin did retain custody of her daughter for the time being. I believe there's going to be another hearing sometime in March to where they're going to make a final determination on that case. Uh, there's some weird information I found out about her, but I'm not going to disclose that publicly. And so let's see. Oh, we got another. Okay, well, social media, there's not much going on tonight. Hmm. Let me do this. Well, Landfield McConnell should have got an attorney a long time ago. Um, his decision to wait until the last minute, basically just extended the amount of time that he's spending in jail. He's been in jail now, um, December, January, February. He's been in here 3 months, and they're not even going to have a discovery hearing until the middle of March. And so by the time this thing hits the court, we're looking at May. So, At least the weather's going to be decent down there. So it's. And I'm going to be curious as to how long this is going to take. Let me see something. So I'm going to bring up. Florida statute dictates that 6 people serve on juries in criminal trials, except in cases where the death penalty is being sought in those cases. So it is going to be a 6-panel jury. Okay, this is specific to the. What I'm trying to find out is. I'm trying to figure out if it's majority or unanimous. I think in a felony it's unanimous. Because that's what a lot of times they try, and if they can't get a unanimous verdict, then it's considered a mistrial. Um, so what I'm let me see. Let me do it this way. Okay. It's saying that it is going to have to be a unanimous. In Florida and in every state in America other than Louisiana and Oregon, in order for the government to convict someone of a crime, it must be a unanimous verdict. 6 jurors must be unanimous in their verdict. So it has to be unanimous if filled to be convicted in Florida. And if it's less than unanimous, then it can be declared a mistrial. If they can't reach it, what happens if they can't reach a unanimous decision? Then they come to the judge and say, "Okay, we can't reach a unanimous verdict," and they declare a mistrial. The state can decide whether or not it wants to retry the case, and it goes from there. But it has to be unanimous for either guilty or not guilty. If they cannot, if you get into a thing where it's not a unanimous verdict, then, that's where we're at. So the state has to convince 6 jurors that Field is guilty. The defense has to convince 6 jurors that Field is not guilty. And I've served as a foreman on a felony case. It's rather interesting experience. And mine was a rape case. A guy had been friends of this woman for years, and Florida got him for digital rape, which, it's basically he reached where he shouldn't have, and the woman told him to stop, and he wouldn't stop until after she got upset. And what got the man convicted? Well, we came back with a charge of guilty, And the reason we did is because they played a tape in court, and he basically confessed to it. Because what they did is they had the victim call the guy, and it was a back and forth argument as to why did you do this to me, so on and so forth. And he said, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it." And when we discussed it, I brought this up to the panel. I said, "Look, this guy actually confessed, and what we had to do is I say, you guys want to hear the tape again?" And they said yes. So what the foreman does is he writes out a request. I wrote out a request to the judge that we wanted to rehear the tape. And so what happened was they brought the entire jury back into the courtroom. They had the defendant in there with his lawyers, the state, and everything. They replayed the tape, or replayed the recording, and then the judge sent us back to deliberate. And it took us 5 minutes. I said, "Do you guys, let's go ahead and put this up for a vote." We put it up for a vote, and we voted guilty. And he got 10 years. He got 10 years, and I think he got 5 years probation after he gets out. So it was very short. The trial was 1 day, and we found him guilty that afternoon. We deliberated for 3 hours. I actually wrote my blog about it. I wrote a series called A Case of Rape, and I went into it. I actually had the recordings. I don't know what's ever happened, but I still got the recordings of that. And sometime if you're interested, I'll find all this information and have a show on it to show what it's like to serve on a jury and to be a jury foreman. I don't know how the hell that happened. Everybody's just we're all sitting there talking, and all of a sudden somebody said, "You want to do it?" They voted. I became the foreman of the jury, and that was weird. That's something I didn't expect. And it was almost evenly divided. It was half. It was men and women, various backgrounds, and we all went through the process. They asked us different questions, and I told the judge that I do write a true crime blog. And he said, "That's fine." Neither lawyer objected to it, so I said, "Okay." Hi, Julie. Welcome. I was hoping you were going to show up tonight. But this was while I was covering the Casey Anthony case at this trial, and I got called for jury duty. And they did not appeal the case. So the guy went. They sentenced him a month later. Well, with Tim Holmseth, everything is involved with the deep state and child trafficking and people eating babies. I mean, he's been into these conspiracy theories for a long, long time, almost from the beginning. But he didn't get into some of this other stuff, like the Ukraine, until the last year or two. He evolves his conspiracy theories. Alicia, Tim Holmseth has declared that he saw the B'nai case at least twice, if not more. In his latest revelation, he's got Monty involved in it to some extent. I mean, and that's Tim. He just loves conspiracy theories. His last two videos are good. Well, you don't have much taste in videos if you're talking about Tim. If you're not talking about Tim Holmes, sorry. Because he just did a video. Um, and he did another article, and he's got me and Monty tied up with this Margaritaville guy, which I don't even know. So now I'm supposed to be in with him. And I don't know the guy. He just kind of popped up one day. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Julia. My condolences. Ooh, somebody doesn't like California. Yeah, yeah, I picked up on that, Marcia. Holmes Seth has done and did a video I think it was last night. Just reading the chat, seeing what you guys are up to. Well, AOC, it's going to be a long time before she's eligible to be running for president. I can't think of how old she is right now, but she's pretty young. Um, hmm, wow. Yeah, Levi, I think that AOC, I think it's 35 you have to be president or something. Yeah, well, that's what I figured, Glory, that it would be after Trump if he goes. Oh, that AOC. Okay, I was thinking of somebody else. Agent Secco. I don't believe I've seen that yet. I'm going to have to go and start looking at those. Um, about another press release. Well, what he's doing is he's attacking me, Monty, and our friend from uh, Canada. They say we're working on some conspiracy. We're supposed to have somehow gotten a hold of $750,000. And he's turned around the fact that somebody has a picture of him uh, on one of his pages where he, excuse me, um, accepted cash on a GoFundMe account. He actively solicited it. And I can't remember who sent me that. Oops, excuse me. Now I got the burps. Come on, scroll. I was going to download that picture. Oh, yeah, the recording where I got a mention in there. Let's see. Uh, he called me a retard. So now, a retard calling somebody a retard. It's weird. Okay, that's. Come on, get out of there. Well, I don't know where. Somebody. Well, let me check one of my usual. What I'm trying to find is that picture. If somebody knows where it is, there's a picture of. Maybe she did it. But somebody did a picture of Tim. And it shows his GoFundMe where he actually collected funds. Damn, Tim. Yeah, Kennedy's got a whole boatload. Okay. Nope, it's not here. I hate that when you try to find something you can't. Nope. Well, I'm not going to be able to find that picture. I can see that. Oh well. But they're, basically, they caught Tim dead to rights. He did collect money on behalf of one of these groups, either the Children's Crusade or the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force, and he's come out saying, no, I didn't. And they've got pictures saying, yes, you did. So, oh well. Now, I'm wearing my headset, so I hope the pounding's not coming through. Yeah, you see, Tim is strange like that. He just, some guy in Florida by the name of, but he said my name complete at least twice. So, he makes all these asinine claims and then he can't back them up. He's never, ever produce that letter he said that I wrote. Well, the problem is he did use my full name. It's come out several times. And Randy Erickson did it again. So, they're mentioning me. Me and Monty ought to have a Pepsi drinking contest. Hey, Skippy. Skippy's walking around. He just went and got a drink of water. Well, what Kurt Pendergrass ought to read the um, report, and he'd see that Phil McConnell actually contacted her twice by email, and I believe he called her. So, and the thing is, if they play those recordings in court, Phil McConnell's going to have it tough. See, that's the part I don't understand quite yet, what the lawyer is going to argue in Phil's defense, because, I personally have heard that stuff that he said. And, talking about crude things he said about female things that is going to get him in a lot of trouble. I warned this day one. The first time I heard it, I said, that guy's going to get arrested. And every step of the way, me and everybody else that has taken this stand has said that he is going to wind up in Florida and in court. And Kirk Pendergrass and Tim Holmes said, no, he's not going to Florida. Well, guess where he's at? So, well, thank you for sharing, Glory. Yeah, basically the only reason I need the 1,000 subs is so that I can do two things. The first thing I want to be able to do is live stream by mobile, where I don't have a Wi-Fi connection. YouTube went and changed their rules, and for whatever reason, in order to live stream while driving in the car, I've got to have 1,000 subscribers minimum. And also, the state of Florida passed a law after the Casey Anthony trial, where you have to have a minimum of 1,000 subscribers. You have to do any number of things in order to meet their criteria to get press credentials. And the only thing that's going to allow me to do is to text in court during the trial. So what I want to be able to do is, while I'm in court, is I'm gonna live tweet the proceedings, and so that's why I need to get press credentials so I can do that. Now I'm working with the court to see, because that's the only case I'm going to cover down there, if they will let that one rule slide. So we're going to see what happens there. And the longer the case goes, between the time that we're going through all this thing with Field and his various motions and the actual trial, will give me a long time to get it. Now, what I cannot do is provide video and audio. Broward County does not have the system down there that they have up here in Orange County. Up here in Orange County, we have a media room where we can plug audio and video from the court into our computer and broadcast it live. Broward County didn't have that, so I'm not going to be able to broadcast live from Broward County like I wanted to, but I can in court tweet. So that's what I'll be doing, is this is going to be done one of two ways. I'm either going to, like, when they have a verdict, um, I'll tweet it right there. Um, the minute they say guilty or not guilty, it's going out on Twitter. If I can't do it in the courtroom, I'm going to go out in the hallway and, find out the earliest I can get out of the courtroom, and I'm going to go out in the hallway and uh, tweet the verdict and so forth, you know. So that's hopefully I can get to where uh, I can live tweet in the courtroom and provide a play-by-play as to what Field says, if Kim testifies, what she says, what the judge says, if they go into sidebar, any of that stuff. So we're going to see how that goes. And how long the trial's going to be. That's going to be the question of the hour. Because that's all going to be determined by what his defense attorney does and what kind of motions and all this other stuff that he does. So. Will Field's attorney try to have those videos suppressed? Yeah, they may try. Because there's a thing, it's called prejudicing. It might prejudice the jury. In other words, it would be so inflammatory that the jury would not be able to reach a fair verdict. They would be tainted because of this inflammatory. Could be or hearsay. Could be any number of reasons that the defense attorney tries to get that evidence quashed. And then the prosecution's going to say, well, this is the reason this has to come in, because we're proving cyber stalking, and so on and so forth. Something similar happened in Lassiter in United States versus Lassiter. They tried to get evidence suppressed, and the judge ruled, no, the evidence is coming in. And one of the things that came in was a recording of Derek Lassiter that was with his wife, and this was to prove that he had violated the condition of his pre-sentencing release. And he wound up going to jail a month early because of that violation. So this stuff will come in. And I agree with you, Levy. I do not think they're going to be suppressed. I think I don't know what the attorney's going to do. I'm sure he's looked everything over, and I just have no idea how he's going to defend Field on that. That's going to be one of these things that will be curious to see. I am certain that during the discovery process, we're going to find out a lot as to how the trial's going to go. Because this is just like the Casey Anthony case, where there's all kinds of discovery that was called for by the defense team, and by the time it went to trial, a lot of it wasn't used. They used very little of what came out in discovery. The state used a lot. The defense didn't use a heck of a lot. They did. That wasn't but the thing about the Field McConnell trial is it's not going to be anything like the Casey Anthony case. This is going to be a day or two, maybe, and it's going to be done with. It's going to be out the door. So, I'm looking at going down to Fort Lauderdale the night before the trial, going through the whole trial, and then I'm going to judge how long I stay in Fort Lauderdale depending on the length of the trial. Because if they have the trial and it goes home, then, there's not, it's going to be a very short trial. So I would suspect that it's going to be 1, maybe 2 days. And it'll then be up to the jury as to how long they deliberate. How much they've got to look at, what they feel, and so on and so forth. And then, when they come back with their verdict. Because yeah, I even wound up in the discovery, and it was partly due to some idiot The guy was a private detective slash bodyguard. He submitted it to the court, and it was a stupid chat. And it never got used, of course. But it's in the record. You can, if you want to look for it, it's there. And I thought it was kind of funny. And Tim Holmes says, he says, William Murtaugh is in the discovery in the Casey Anthony case. Well, yeah, along with sightings in Georgia and North Carolina and Tennessee and all over of Casey Anthony, her Kaylee Anthony, and all the psychic stuff was in there and everything. Yeah, the videos are evidence, and I can get the DVDs. And the nice thing about it, see, this is what I'm going to do is when the videos are submitted in Discovery, I'm going to do a FOIA, and I'm going to get all that stuff. And they can't hit me with a copyright strike because that's court records. So I'll have all those videos. Yeah, WKMG did 2 interviews of me. One having to do with the Trenton Duckett case, and the other having to do with the Casey Anthony case with my live truck. Now, the funny thing about that, Tim Holmes uses that against me all the time. And what's funny about that is that the reporter actually apologized for that. He said he had no control over that. He said the anchors were responsible for putting those comments in there. But at the time, I was the only private individual in the state of Florida live streaming in a car. The only one. And I was the only one that was doing 24-hour coverage of the case. I spent a week covering the case. And where the live truck came from is I operate a dealership here in Florida, and I have 3 divisions. One is a retail division that was run by my partner, and he sold cars at the retail level. The second, I was a broker for antique and special interest cars. And then the third is I was a specialty commercial vehicle lease. And what I leased were live trucks, and I leased them to small market media outlets all over the United States. And my live truck that I used on the Anthony case was a lease return that I had taken back 2 months prior to the case. And somehow, I got the bright idea of taking my live truck, converting it to live stream the internet, put 4 cameras on it, and hit the road. It's kind of a novelty. It's kind of like Phil McConnell with his hearse. But it was, I re-engineered the van so that it could live stream from the van while moving. I had a 80-foot telescoping mast that I put a pan and tilt camera on and all that. And I took pictures. I was at the Kaylee Anthony search, and I was also down in South Florida when Texas Extra Search came to town. And then I went up to Blanchard Park in downtown Orlando when Leonard Padilla, the bounty hunter, came to town and financed the search of the Oconaluhatchee River, the Econ as we call it, because he felt that her body might be in the river because of some carving that was on a tree or something like that. So did that. I went over to the Anthony residence and stuff like that, and I actually drove past the burial site where they found the remains of Kaylee Anthony. Drove right past it. Was on video and everything. Because went down. There was an elementary school down at the end of the road. There was a private individual that searched for Kaylee down there. So they came real close to finding her. I mean, it was like they walked right past her. But she was under 4 feet of water. So that was an interesting experience. But I also got crucified for it. I had trolls coming out. Tim Holmseth came after me for it. So it was one of those things. But I still have the live truck. It's in storage. It does not run. Um, I never got rid of it. I just kept it as a souvenir. So it's sitting in storage right now. It'll never be used again. Um, I'll probably wind up selling it. But I'm just too lazy to get rid of it. I guess is one way of looking at it. Yeah, Alicia, Casey did it, but what got her off is they couldn't come up with a definitive cause of death, and they couldn't connect Casey to it. Um, a lot of people were mad at the jury over that, but in the end, they did what they could. It was a jury from out of town. They didn't. They really went through a lot of trouble to come up with a jury for that case, and found her not guilty. That's just the way it went. Hmm. Well, I don't think the jurors are lazy. I think they did their job, but it's hard to argue. I know a lot of people were mad over that. Man, there were death threats against the jury, all kinds of stuff. I mean, there were people that were hopping mad at that jury, and I wasn't happy about it. But in the end, it's when I went back and re-examined everything, the jury basically did what they had to do. Yeah, that was a short deliberation. That was the one thing that always bothered me is it didn't take very long. It was like they had their mind made up when they went into the jury room. But you know, it's just one of those things. There's no, you can't do double jeopardy, so you can't retry the case, and it's just one of those things. I mean, Casey Anthony is the most hated woman in America right now. Um, people just, people just do not like her at all. But, and every time she goes to try and make money, there's a small group of people that try and boycott it to where, um, oh God, I'm getting a cramp. I gotta stand up. Sorry, folks. This chair, the way this chair is set up, if I sit in it too long, I get a cramp. And I just got a bad one. So you're going to get to see my Grumpy in Florida shirt. Oh, God. I used to have that happen in my van. If I sat too long in the live truck, the darn thing, I'd get cramps. Well, my thing with Monty is he's got into the coronavirus thing, and I'm not really into that. Um, I follow that in the news, but it's just it's not on my radar right now. Yeah, it's what's going to happen is going to happen. I don't believe the conspiracy theories all that much. Minerals and drink more water. I've been told that before on here because, yeah, you're probably right. But what it is, this is an extremely firm office chair. It's like sitting on a brick. And I'm going to get a gaming chair. That's my next goal is I'm going to get a gaming chair because they're supposed to be good for long periods of time because I have chairs that I sit in that I can sit for 3 hours and I don't have this problem. But this thing, jeez. It's like there's no padding. It's a nice looking chair and everything, but there's no padding. And so I've got one chair in the other room that I might switch out and see if that does any good. I just managed to get to it because it was behind some equipment. And, in the process of moving some equipment around, I happened to see the chair and I says, wow, I'll give this a shot. So maybe tomorrow you'll see me in a different chair, and we'll see if that does any good. Because I was thinking about getting a gaming chair. Woman who fatally stabbed dad with an arrow smiles at sentencing. Sheesh, boy, what an ugly looking woman. Yike! FBI nabs 4 extremists for threatening journalists. Well, there you go. You don't make threats, so you're going to get your ass arrested. People are going to learn. Field's going to learn. Well, Sabrina, Monty does a lot of good stuff. It's just that I'm not interested in that particular subject. Yeah, I think the way the chair is designed that it's cutting off my circulation, but it only happens every once in a great while. And if I just stand up for about a minute, it goes away. Because, I can sit in an airplane for 3 hours and not have this problem. And those seats aren't exactly soft, and you're actually a sardine. It's kind of like you have to be a skinny midget to fly in those damn things anymore. Jesus. Mert, that was a setup. Okay. Whatever was. All right. It's funny. When my going to the airports all over the country, and the thing you notice is people are wearing masks. And it's not just people from over in Asia, it's everybody's wearing the damn things. It seems more and more people every day are wearing masks. Okay, nothing going on with Tim. What in the hell's that all about? What a crock of golf course shit. Huh. Hmm. Yeah, nah. Tim has more or less got involved with the coronavirus as well, along with Randy. Everybody's jumped on uh, this bandwagon. Oh, we picked up another comment. Let's see what the third one is. Yeah, that's Tim crying mentioning David Jose. Yeah. Oh, you son of a gun. What the hell did I do that for? Every once in a while, this thing acts up. I'm going to get this back where I had it. Okay. Now I've lost the chat. Yeah, here we go. I don't know why I did that. My husband wants me to be an Eastern Star. What the heck is an Eastern Star? Oh, I think that Preacher Dan's going to get busted eventually. I mean, that guy is way over the top. One of these days he's going to do something. He's going to get his ass arrested again. Yeah, I wonder, why do they call it the coronavirus? Of all the things to name something. That's the first I've heard of it, Root. I thought that there had been a lawsuit a long time ago about George Anthony. I didn't know that thing was still on the docket. I'm going to have to check on that. Uh, George did make some bad accusations about George Anthony during the trial. And I don't know as if you're able to sue for something like that. We need to send Mert to a Q conference. All right, buy me the tickets. I'll go and cover the thing as an event. You know, why not? Oh, part of the Masons? Okay. Yeah, it may not be a new name, but I'm wondering how they came up with it. Why they call it a coronavirus. Because I think that it's a type of virus that they come up with. And yeah, COV-19. Yeah, I realize, Mish, that's what they call it. Well, I thought that George had sued Jose way back sometime after the verdict, and I don't know what the deal is. Yeah, it's a yellow beer. Apparently he did sue. I don't know what happened to the case. Um, oh, he did. He called him a pedophile and accused him of doing all kinds of stuff. And I thought George was going to come out of the chair and strangle him. Man, you could just see the veins in his neck just exploding. Um, and I'm sitting there going, "What in the hell?" You know, it. I really wish Jose hadn't done that, but this is what attorneys do. And well, I'm game. I'll go to these things and I'll cover them. Um, if I get the money to do it, because it does cost money to go to these. Um, because if this is what the room wants me to do, and they have one of these things where I can get to it, I'll go to it. I'm here to serve you guys. Uh, once this Field McConnell thing winds down, um, I'm going to be looking for subjects that you guys want me to discuss. Um, because Field McConnell will be over and done with in June sometime. If not May, June. I don't know about a crown. It looks like a Christmas decoration the way they've done it. It's just. I saw that thing. I said, hell, they made it look like a Christmas ornament. Jose Baez was lucky. He got This is a guy that was a small-time lawyer. Uh, the Casey Anthony case was the first major case to come in, and it set him up. He's got a hell of a legal business going now because of it. But usually, he was like a public defender. He would hang around the Orange, what we call the 33rd Street Jail, looking for clients. And somehow him and Casey Anthony got connected, and the rest is history. But there was a lot of strange people that came in on that case. Cobra Stubbs was involved. Yeah, all sorts of people. And then of course I got into it. And I got more involved into it than I had intended to. I had not intended to be in the middle of this thing, just cover it. And this is how I learned of the existence of 4chan and Anonymous and all kinds of stuff. Kim, mainly because she's a very experienced lawyer if she were to practice criminal law. Jose would be a logical choice because he's a criminal defense attorney, and that's his specialty. Lawyers are like doctors. They have their own area of practice. Jose Baez is criminal law. Kim Bacasio is family law. She gets into a lot of family stuff, and she does do other things outside the family court field, but that's her primarily. Alicia, that got a little confused. Cobra actually didn't call Tim to get him into the case. What had happened is that Tim reached out to them, and he pestered them to the point where Cobra called to find out what the hell it was all about. And Cobra made some very bad mistakes in all of it. I thought all Phil McConnell's kids live in Wisconsin. No, they are scattered all over the country. I don't think there's anybody from his family. Because it's like it says in the the attorney's filing. He's got the one son in Florida. Cole is in Stewart, Florida, Glory. That's the only son he has. The rest of them are scattered all over the United States. And none of them, as far as I know, are in Wisconsin. Yes, Cobra lied. Cobra is a strange bird. He actually got arrested. But he... I have this theory that all bounty hunters have to be weird. Leonard Padilla was a little off. There was another guy that came into town. He's one that was on. He was on the Discovery Channel or something, where one of these things where you go around and find people and they televise it, and he was a chick magnet. He came and he was in the car and all the girls were surrounding him. It was funny as crap. Levi had trounced Tim Homseth in the ground like a little bug. Levi Page is somebody you don't want to mess around with unless you have to have your I's dotted and your T crossed to deal with Levi. Levi and I went around quite a bit. We argued with each other, and he'll tear your throat out. He just But the thing with Levi, if you're honest with him, he comes around eventually. But Levi and I were basically fighting each other like junkyard dogs for quite a while. And it's all because of bad information by a blogger out of Georgia. And Tim Holmseth and stuff like that. It was a mess. Because Levi and I used to fight. Alexander Goddard and I used to fight. Oh, me and Kim used to get into it. I got Kim on the phone and we would go at each other. Because, I would just tell her like it is. Lawyers don't intimidate me. But the nice thing about Kim is she respects you, even if you disagree. And, you can sit there and argue like cats and dogs, and at the end of the call, you shake your hands and you move on. If you catch the comment, that color looks good on you. Ah, thank you. Um, This is a shirt that I picked up on a lark. I'm not wearing the field shirt anymore because the cartoonist that created that is somebody that I don't trust, and he's not welcome here anymore. So I won't wear his shirt because it's advertising for his company. It's unfortunate, but he was one of the reasons I put up the disclaimer that I did about people that violate the rules. Because he just, I understand that we're all going to be different on things that we agree on, disagree on, so on and so forth. But he got all pissed off at me about what I put on my Facebook page, and he came out with a one of those cartoons that put me in a bad light and stuff like that. The information is correct, Charlene. Apparently, his son got involved. Well, thanks for the yellow. I thought, it just happened to be the shirt, and it's got this funny expression on it and stuff like that. So, I'm glad it worked out. Because I'll probably wear this shirt a lot. I'm not gonna wear it to Fort Lauderdale. Obviously, I'll wear a regular shirt. I'm thinking about getting a kind of a company shirt or something like that, but it'll be more conservative than this because you gotta follow a dress code in court. So can't be too weird. Has Levi been on TV shows? Yes. Tim Holmseth? No. Tim Holmseth has been on social media. As far as I know, he's never been on television. But Levi was on HLN. He appeared with Nancy Grace a lot. And who's the other one? Levi. Her name escapes me, but she's another well-known true crime pundit. But he's been around the media. So he's got a lot of experience in the media. He's got a podcast that I highly recommend you people listen to if you're into true crime, because he's thorough and he gets good guests. So he's definitely worth checking out. Cause, I listen to him as much as I can, and he's very insightful. And he's getting started in the business, and I think he's got a long, productive future ahead of him. Yeah, Ms. Mitchell. Jane Velez Mitchell. And yeah, he's appeared with her, and so he's he's made the rounds. And Levi, yeah, but no, Levi has never made the media. Kim Picasio does not have a podcast. Kim is kind of funny. She really is not big on social media. She was rather ignorant of it, and it's one of the reasons she got into the problem she did. Is she did not, in the beginning, she did not understand social media, how it worked, how screwed up it could be, and so forth. But she's got a very full law practice, and she doesn't have time to screw around on the internet as much as, people would like her to. She comes on every once in a while. She posts on Twitter. She'll come in here every once in a while to say hi, and that's about it. Other than that, she's a professional businesswoman running a legal firm, a very large legal firm down in Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, she has. She didn't deserve the treatment she got. I don't care what I had felt about Kim over the years, but she no time did she deserve to go through what she did. No woman deserves that. Even if this letter is genuine with Kathy, she shouldn't be going through that either. There's no place for these kind of threats anywhere. And this is the problem with these social media people. They go off the deep end and they start making all kinds of threats, and you just don't do it. I wish people wouldn't do it, but I've seen too many cases of this stuff. I've been personally targeted. I got swatted twice, which is a scary thing to have happen. You go to your front door and there's about a dozen sheriff's deputies with, these damn assault rifles pointed at you, and you go, "What the hell did I do?" And somebody called up and said that I was going to commit suicide or commit a violent crime, and I had guns in the house and all this. And the next thing you know, I had the Lake County Sheriff's Department sitting in my driveway. And it turned out to be some idiot from Canada, and he wound up going to jail for it. Wonder what Nancy Grace would think of Phil McConnell and Tim Holmes says. She'd probably eat him for lunch. Nancy Grace is a friend of Kim Picasio. She's had him on her show. And she would just tear, being an officer of the court herself, she'd just tear the both of them to pieces. She doesn't like either one of them. Or wouldn't like either one of them. Timmy has a problem with women, period. I think one of the reasons both him and Field went after Kim is because of the problems they had with the women in their life. I mean, Tim had to go to court over his son with the one woman, and Field McConnell has run into trouble both with his ex-wives and with his sister because she was the executor of the estate of her father. And that's just the way Field is. And all these people, virtually all of them, you got Field McConnell, Tim Holmesworth, Kirk Pendergrass, Chris Elliott, and Preacher Dan, and several others. Virtually all these people have had problems with women, and they've come in on the losing ends. Oh yeah, Kim Picasio and Nancy Grace are very close friends. They like each other because they're both lawyers. One's on the prosecution side and one's on the family side. So Tim wanted to be taken seriously, Alicia, and that's what started all this. He got a hold of Kim Picasio, wanted to get in the case, said he had evidence, some kind of a pie chart and everything, and they basically told him to go take a hike. They were not interested, and it pissed him off. And he just kept coming after her. And it's all in, there's like 175 pages of his stuff out there, and there's almost as many about Phil McConnell. These people just don't learn that, Kim Picasio is no one to mess around with. I mean, she gets her dander up, she'll come after you. She'll respect you if you disagree with her and criticize her, but if you cross that line to where you start with the threats and, start lying and doing what Field and Tim did, she'll come after you. Charlene, you never know what Timothy wanted. Because look at who Timothy was seen with, a blonde woman. He has this thing for blondes. And now this um, Trace woman, whatever the hell her name is. Yeah, my orbs are back. Yeah, my orbs are keeping an eye on me. Actually, it's dust bunnies that they're flying across the camera. I don't know what it is with this house. It generates dust. So I have orbs. So how much do the orbs? Well, what got her involved in the Haley Cummings case was that an associate of hers up in St. Augustine said that there was a woman looking for a lawyer. She was trying to get custody of her children back uh, from her estranged husband, that there had been a problem. So when Kim investigated, she found out it was Haley Cummings, and the biological mother wanted custody of the two remaining biological children. So Kim took the case on pro bono, and that's how she got involved. And she made some decisions in that regard, that she was going to try and find the kids and all this, or try to find Haley. And so she got even more directly involved, and that's where things got out of control. The orbs, I think, are pieces of dust that fly across my webcam, and because of the distance between the camera and the dust, they get magnified and they look like orbs. Either that or I got a bunch of guardian angels flying around. I don't know. But every once in a while I get orbs. As long as I can keep a roach from climbing across the curtain, that'll be good. I had that happen one night on the show, and I've never lived it down. Because it's the one thing you can be guaranteed of in Florida. You're going to have the little brown visitors. And I've got all kinds of stuff around to try and keep them under control, but it's a cost of living. I have no reason to go up to St. Augustine. I recommend you go up there as a tourist. It's an amazing little town. It's the oldest town in Florida. But no, I really, there's no reason for me to go up there. There's nothing. The Haley Cummings case happened over just south of Palatka, where my dealership was. It's about an hour's drive from St. Augustine. But no, there's no reason. But that's in North Florida. That's close to Jacksonville. Fort Lauderdale is a good chunk south in the southeastern portion of the state. And so that's, Broward County's where I'll be going. Okay, Truth Serum, nice of you to show up. I'll be back here at 9 o'clock tomorrow night to bore the hell out of somebody else. I keep an eye on the case. I have friends that are in the sheriff's department up in Putnam County, and so they have promised me that if anything ever comes up, they will let me know. The feeling of law enforcement in Putnam County is that the child is deceased, that the babysitter had something to do with what happened to the child. They're just not sure of what. The feeling is that she may have gone to a party with the adults, and because of a respiratory condition that she had, may have died from it. They panicked and they threw her in the river, because they did find a cinder block with rope in the river, which is less than a tenth of a mile from the house. So it's hard to say. It's an open case. So that's all That's all you can do. There's really just nothing to investigate. I went up there. I took pictures of the house. I did cover the case. The people in my stream room at the time gave $500 towards the search for her, and I delivered that to Texas EquiSearch. So, you know, there isn't anything to get involved in, and Tim just keeps dragging the thing out, and there's nothing there. Of course, that's why now he's going on with all these conspiracy theories, because he's run out of things to write about. He comes up with new suspects. This thing with the Ukraine is brand new. He didn't do this before. This is something he came up with, over the last year or two. Once the Ukraine hit the news, Tim was all over it. And it's the same with the Waterling case. Tim butted into that case, took elements from the case that were actual facts and distorted it, putting his own take on what happened in there, and he basically screws with people, oversells himself, and then people find out he's basically a moron, and then they regret having him involved. And I've seen this time and again. Come on. So, just checking in. Last thing we heard from Tim was 10 hours ago. Nothing going on. Absolutely nothing. So, things have pretty well crashed as far as these other pages. Misty probably was. They went to jail. Her and Ron Cummings are currently in jail for. Charlene, it depends on the federal investigations. I mean, there is a federal investigation being done in regards to both the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force and the Children's Crusade. And there also might be something going on with the Cynthia Ebbshug case. So there's always the possibility that Tim will go to jail. You just don't know. It depends on how these other cases come about. Yeah, they both got. It's a strange story, Alicia. They got Ron and Misty got 20 years apiece for trafficking a drug. They got caught in a drug sting. And also a woman from Texas Equisearch, which is the people that were searching for Haley Cummings, got in the middle of it, and now she's in jail too. It was stupid. I mean, the stuff that came out during the investigation of that case, it was the weirdest thing there ever was. The Casey Anthony case was bad, but this was even worse. These people were a bunch of morons. I mean, they're all a bunch of young druggies, and she was a teenager. I mean, the girl's 17 years old, and she got thrust into this high-profile case. And, that's the thing, Alicia. They got her for something. They threw the book at her because she got involved in the rock cocaine stuff. It was the hard stuff. And so they nailed her. They nailed her big time. I mean, it was caught on a body cam. It was the sheriff's department that caught her over in St. Augustine, I believe. So, they deserve what they got. And, the whole family, I mean, the biological mother was into drugs, and she has since passed away. And it was a strange business. Charlene, you're right. Tim Holmseth wanted to be the one to crack the case, just like he wants to be the one to crack the Jan Benet Ramsey case and all these other cases. It was pills too. It's actually, I think the pills is what did it, but they were other things involved there. But yeah, I think you're right. I think it was the pills that got him. Um, but they were into everything. It was amazing. Um, well, it's a small Florida town. It's mostly mobile homes. There are old. Oh, you talking about? Yeah, yeah. Samsula is a small town south of Palatka. Um, they were in a mobile home park that's a lot like this one, except for it was all dirt roads in the back, and it was low income housing. So it's just he was making pretty good money. He was a crane operator, and they make pretty darn good money. But they spent it all on drugs. Uh oh, what the hell's her name? She basically is not doing much. Mary Lee, and she's a nice lady, but she just, you know, she was loyal to Tim for a long time, and then she finally got fed up with everything, and she's, you know, I don't hear much from her anymore. Yeah, it's a mix. It's primarily blue collar. There's a mix. Uh, right next door to the trailer park, um, that the Cummings lived is a uh, adult retired community. The same one that I'm in, basically, where it's they don't allow children or any of that. It's people my age. It's a retirement community. It's nice. It's a nice trailer park, and it's on the river. And there's a number of those as you go up and down the St. Johns River. And just so people know, there's a little trivia. The St. Johns River flows backwards. It flows to the north instead of to the south. And the river starts down south of Orlando, flows north to Jacksonville, and comes out in Jacksonville Bay. That's and there is some. We had a coal powered power plant in Sanford, Florida, and the coal barges used to come down and deliver coal to that plant. They will rust on the East Coast because of the salt water, but no, most of the time, old cars don't rust down here. Well, they could have appealed the case. I don't think that it was ever appealed. But it's one of those things. They got it. At least they got him for something. Well, Mary Lee just moved on. She's just enjoying her retirement. I think she blogs every once in a while. She's gone political, uh, and that's about it. I haven't heard much. I haven't heard much from her at all. Uh, there was a troll that was following me, or Teslana, who I suspect is somebody from Virginia, and she sent me a picture of Mary Lee, about 3 weeks ago. But I blocked her. I finally got tired of her, and I haven't heard from her since. So I think we're to the end of her, unless she comes in here and watches and doesn't say anything. But I tried to tell her. I says, knock it off with all the pictures. It's not, you're not doing anything constructive except sending pictures. And I got tired of it because she's recycling the same pictures over and over and over again. And she's got an obsession with Levi Page, as she's always had. And so she'd send all kinds of pictures of Levi Page. And I thought that was kind of weird. Mary Lee does not like Trump. I'm not sure who she supports. She may support Bernie. I don't know. Yeah, that's the theory. That they tied a cinder block to Haley and threw her in the river. And gross as it is, I think the alligators got her. Because the St. John River is full of alligators. And at one time, somebody found a body and it turned out to be an Indian from. They figured the Indian had been in the river like 100 years or something like that. It's weird. Yeah, yeah, she would post pictures of Levi and Kim and stuff. It's just it's weird. But she was obsessed with Tim. I agree with you, Charlene. I think it's going to remain an unsolved case, just like the Trenton Duckett case is unsolved. Neither one of those children will ever be found. It's been too long. Uh, if by some miracle they're alive, then yeah, but they're not alive, neither one of them. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, that's that. Charlene, that's the person I'm talking about. I finally blocked her because I got tired of it. Um, and I think it's a woman that goes by Astro from Virginia, and she just changed her name because she does the exact same thing Astro does. So yeah, hell, it's technically it's an open case, although the law enforcement's not investigating anymore because they firmly believe she did it, so they figure it's no point in even investigating it anymore. So all right, I'm running a little over on time here. Things are just getting a little interesting, but I've got to close it down. I'll be back tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, and we'll just sit here and have an informal chat if anything comes up overnight. And huh, going into I don't know if I'm on the air or not. The thing is going into uh, I'm getting the circle of death here. Let me see what's going on. Okay, well, it's coming down there, but I don't know if I'm getting out. But oh, there we go. I'm not sure what's going on. Uh, I'm getting buffering at this end. But I'm going to go ahead and shut it down, guys. I appreciate you showing up. Like I said, I'll be back tomorrow night. I'm going to have to look and see why I'm not getting why I'm getting this buffering. I'm supposed to have the highest speed internet that I can get, and so I'm going to have to find out what's going on. Probably upgrade my internet access. Um, I really appreciate you guys showing up. Uh, and yeah, I'll have to check Marston and see what he's up to. But 9 o'clock tomorrow night, we'll see what we can get into. Uh, until then, this is William K. Murtaugh, Mert Witness 1. Have a good one and God bless and have a good weekend, folks. Enjoy your President's Day weekend.